My name is Haley LaQuesta. I'm the Director of Media and Public Relations here at the Richmond County School System, and I'm so excited to welcome you to another school year and our first Community Conversations series of the 2026-2027 school year. So before I introduce our very special guest and get into our first community conversations, I'll go over a little bit how it works. This is a live Q&A. This is our opportunity to engage in two-way conversation with you. Some of you submitted your questions that you have for Superintendent Dr. Cobb before the event, but you'll notice either at the top of your screen or the bottom of your screen, depending on which device you're on, a button that says Q&A. As Dr. Cobb goes through her back to school presentation, you can always feel free to use that Q&A to send in your question that you want answered during our community conversations event. So after the presentation, we'll go into Q&A. And we'll do our best to answer everybody's questions. But for those that had similar questions, like what kind of sports does my school offer for my children? We've combined some of those questions. And if we run out of time, um, you know, include your contact information so that we can get back with you and follow up with you personally. But after every community conversations event, we also post our FAQs at rcboe.org/town hall. So if we don't answer your question live, we'll do everything we can to get to you after the event ends. And as a reminder, if you have any sensitive information or information specific about your child, we'll make sure that we follow up with you personally on those questions. So that being said, I would love to introduce our special guest for today's Community Conversation series, Superintendent Dr. Melinda Cobb. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Cobb.
No, thank you, Haley. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So it's been very, very busy here at the Richmond County School System, especially in this last week, which is funny because you'll find that the Board of Education becomes very quiet leading up to the first days of school because everybody is mobilized out in different parts and different schools, helping our staff. Dr. Cobb, can you talk a little bit about what our people here in the central office have been doing and what our schools have been doing in preparation for the first day?
Yes, absolutely. Today, we were so excited to welcome all of our teachers and staff members back. So excited to kick off that new year. And they came back yesterday, met with their schools, but today we were able to work with professional learning. So our teachers were out all across the district at different schools, collaborating with one another. It's a great opportunity for teachers to meet other folks in other schools who do the same things they do, as well as receive professional learning. So we had a lot of that going on today, but how do we prepare? So we have a week of new educator orientation where we bring on 250 to 300 new teachers almost every year. We provide a lot of training, and then our favorite is at the very ending of that, they get to go into their classrooms and begin to set everything up. We also have summer leadership for all of our administrators. We go over any kind of new laws that have passed, any new policies or procedures, and just really good reminders about effective leadership in our buildings. And then it's all hands on deck, as you described, going out to our schools to help make sure everyone has what they need. It's important for us that all of our teachers have their school supplies and that they have all of that available and ready for our families whenever they come back next
Right.
week. Yes.
Awesome. Well, as we said, so we're going to start with some important back to school information for all of our families. You might have seen a little poll pop up. Tell us where you're coming from. Are you a staff member from one of our schools? Are you a student? Are you a parent? Let us know where you're coming from. But without further ado, again, please feel free to insert your Q&A as we go along. But Dr. Cobb, I'm going to hand it over to you, and we'll talk a little bit about some important back to school information.
Okay, thank you, Haley. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We have some information. I believe that's going to be up on the screen in just a few moments. We have some slides we want to go over just so we could make sure we remember to tell everyone what we thought was really important, good back to school information. So we'll go ahead and jump into that. First, I want to make sure everybody knows we have a mission and a vision statement. Every 5 years, our school system goes through strategic planning, and this particular strategic plan is from 2025 to 2030. We bring in a lot of stakeholders who come together to say, what will our students need 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years, and what can we do in the next 5 to help make sure they're ready? So our mission statement is empowering every learner every day. That's really important to us because we think our teachers, our parents, our community, they're all our learners, and we want to make sure that you have the information you need, which is why we do things like we have here today. Our vision statement is to prepare our students to thrive, adapt, and lead in an ever-changing world. And we believe that success is attainable for every student, that all students deserve a quality educational experience. I always pause there and just remind everyone, yes, it's very important what we do in our classroom, but we also want to make sure all of our students have opportunities to participate in after-school activities, extracurricular activities, field trip opportunities. We believe that education is a shared responsibility. This is something that the school system and our teachers cannot do alone. It takes everybody working together. Transparency is a foundation of trust. We try to always be as transparent as we can possibly be about the process on how decisions are made. And of course, safety for everyone is a priority for us. And we talked a little bit about the strategic plan. So you can see our map here. This is the work that we are working on from 2025 to 2030. And we grouped a lot of our priorities into 4 areas. The first one is student achievement. We know that's really why you are here. That's what parents, that's why you send your students to school, to learn and be taken care of. So we do want to make sure we have a focus on student achievement. Our second bucket is stakeholder engagement and communication. You heard Ms. LaQuesta say a few moments ago, this is a part of our two-way conversation, communication that we want to be able to have. The third one is talent development. That's really investing in our teachers, our students, our staff to help make sure that we are constantly growing to become better at what we do. And then the last one, our safe and secure learning environment, really making sure that everyone feels safe while they're here at school. That's emotional safety, physical safety, as well as financial safety. Okay. All right, something we are excited about, families. I hope if you have not received yours already, we have this community guide. It used to be called our Welcome Back Guide. Our Community One guide is in the mail right now to our families, and it is full of a lot of great information. Parents, this is one that you are going to want to save. And in the middle of there is an amazing calendar that we want to be able to give to you so that you can hang that up on your refrigerator. But do expect to see the Community One guide. It will look like this, a small magazine that is being mailed to every family. That's why keeping our addresses are so updated is so important, because we want to make sure that we're sending it to the right address. And then also there is a QR code here if you would like to scan that while I'm talking to be able to access an electronic copy of our guide. On our next slide, we're excited to announce that our Georgia Department of Education has extended our strategic waiver for another 2 years. And what does that mean to you as a family? That the strategic waiver allows our school system to have flexibility from certain laws or restrictions in order to be able to do what is best for our students. So we're always happy to have that, and we certainly appreciate the support and the confidence that the Georgia Department of Education has in what we are doing. So we wanted to highlight that. On our next slide, we'll talk a little bit about our annual report. So this is something that you may have, parents, you should have received a Shout Point email or text letting you know that our annual report was available on our website. And some of your schools have some hard copies if you'd like to stop by, if you want one. What's the annual report? At the end of each school year, we try to be open with our stakeholders to let you know how we did. So we share data points, we share stories, and it's just really a great way to be able to see what we wanted to highlight from our 25-26 school year. So again, you can scan that QR code if you'd like, or you could go to that web address that you have there. Okay, very exciting. Open house is around the corner. So next week, parents, let's make sure we get out. We want you to come in, meet your teachers, walk the hallway. Our high school students like to try to map out their paths so they know how to go from first period all the way to 7th. Open house at all of our schools runs from noon until 6 p.m. elementary open house is August 3rd, and our August 4th will be our K-8 school, Freedom Park, all of our middle schools, all of our magnet schools, and all of our high schools. So we hope to see you at open house. The next exciting date we want to make sure everybody has is our first day of school. The first day for elementary is August the 5th, and the first day for K-8, middle, magnet, and high school is August the 6th. So we are definitely looking forward to seeing all of you and all your amazing smiles on our first day back. I wanted to highlight a little bit here to tell you about Classroom Ready, because parents, you should notice when you get your supply list that it looks a little smaller than it has in the past. We really wanted to focus our classroom supply list for parents on what your child will need. So you'll see things like pens, papers, notebook, those supplies that your child would need to be successful, and fewer of some of the things that the teacher would need for the classroom. For example, your teacher may have asked in the past for you to send in some paper or tissues for everyone. We're so excited. This year we have an initiative called Classroom Ready, and each of our classroom teachers received a $300 voucher to be able to go into our environment in Amazon and purchase school supplies directly for his or her class. That's something we wanted to do so that our teachers aren't spending as much money out of pocket, and some of our families are not either. We're very thankful for Title I being able to help provide that opportunity for our families and our teachers. On our next slide, we'll talk about the importance of registration. So hopefully you've already received a phone call, a text, a reminder to go online and register. So at this point, our registration has closed as far as getting people registered for the new school year. All returning families, all new families need to go online every year and register. The most important piece of registering is updating your contact information. Mom and dad, you want to update who are your emergency contacts. Take a look at that. Several times a year, we will remind you to do that. Has your address changed? And if it has, we need for you to upload those documents so that we can have the correct information to be able to send home to you. Has something changed in your child's health program? There are quite a few questions that we ask, and one of the big questions on there is around the bus. Does your child need transportation for the new year? So if you did not have an opportunity to register online during the window, you could still go online. You can still update your information, but you may not have all the information available to you or a schedule ready for you at open house. So if you would like to complete online registration, we have our link here. We also have our QR code, and we want to try to get you guys in all the time. Your registrar, your school principal, they're happy to see you. I do want to make sure I tell our families, if you register at open house, we will not be able to give you your child's teacher that same night. So if you come during open house, we will take care of you and we will have you ready for the first day of school, but you won't be able to meet your teacher or get your schedule for open house. On our next slide, I'll talk a little bit about those annual updates. That's what we were talking about in our Infinite Campus Parent Portal. But our families should really get into the habit, and next March, April, May, we're going to be sending you a lot of reminders before you even leave for the school year. Please, let's go ahead and register for the upcoming year. Emergency contacts, phone numbers, your email address, making sure we have all of that on file. If you have a middle school, a high school student who now perhaps has a cell phone, we want to have their cell phone number too, so that we can help reach them. And all of that is something that you can do whenever you go online for registration. Buses, if you register right now, we may not have a bus route ready for you because it does take us a little while to get that ready. So always make sure you register early so that we can make sure that your child is well prepared for that first day of school. But please go online and fill out that information. All right, on our next slide is our school calendar. I was telling you a little bit about that whenever your Community One guide comes home. In the very middle of it, and I would open it up. I don't know if it'll show on here, but you're going to have this amazing calendar that you can pull right out, and you can hang that up on your refrigerator. Parents, we wanted to make sure that was available to you. And then our new website that rolled out in December, we have this great feature. When you go on our website, you'll be able to see this little icon. You see the little orange square with the little lines, looks like a Wi-Fi. You can go onto that and it will take the calendar and put it right on your electronic calendar. Whether you are using Outlook or you're using Google, gone are the days, Mom and Dad, when you have to go in and type back in first day of school, progress reports, fall break. All of this can go straight to your calendar for you. So this is a feature that we are certainly happy to have. You'll also notice in our calendar, we very intentionally built in breaks because we know that families need an opportunity to reset. Students, parents, and our teachers need rest. But parents, and one of the things I encourage families to do is to take a look at those breaks. Like, for example, in October, we have a fall break. So if you were trying to plan some kind of travel plans, or you wanted to go out of town to visit family, the fall break, you'll see Thanksgiving break. We have a long winter Christmas break. And then in February, we have that President's Day weekend where we have a long break. And of course, spring break. Spring break in Augusta. We have a huge golf tournament that happens right here in our backyard. But those breaks are intentionally built around some of our federal holidays to help make sure that families can rest and recover. And our next page, I'll talk about the bell schedule. We run 3 tiers of buses in Richmond County. What does that mean? That means our drivers, they cover our first tier, then they go to our second tier of schools, then they go to our third tier. So within your welcome back guide, you'll have opportunity to see where's my school and what are our times. So you'll see first tier runs 7:25 to 2:15. You'll notice Meadowbrook is highlighted. We did have 2 schools that changed their bell schedule. So Meadowbrook is now going to be a first tier school. That means they'll start school at 7:25, bright and early, Meadowbrook families. Glen Hills Elementary is now on tier 2, and tier 2 starts at 8:20 and it ends at 3:10. Our third tier schools, there are no changes there, 9:15 to 4:20. Our magnet schools operate 8:30 to 3:25, and we have several special programs that are listed here for you with their hours as well. Parents, I always remind, let's say you're on a first tier and your school starts at 7:25. Please don't drop them off at 7:25 or they will be late. They need to be in the school, ready to begin work at 7:25. So we certainly appreciate you guys all working with us to help make sure that everyone arrives on time. All right, on our next one, talk a little bit about transportation. That is a question we have every year. Some parents they want to know, where is the bus? Is this the correct bus? You can go online, use our Stop Finder app. You can find your routes. You know exactly where it's going to pick you up. But this is a photo you may want to take a picture of or a screen. This is our transportation hotline that's available for families if you need to reach someone. This is our web page. You'll see bus registration help. How do you go in and find out the info finder? Maybe you want to see which school am I zoned for? And then the Stop Finder bus tracking information. I'm also a parent myself, and one of my favorite features of the Stop Finder app is in the morning when I can open it up to see where the bus is, so I can help coordinate to make sure that we are at the bus stop at the right time. So there are a lot of great tools here, families, to make sure that your bus experience is going well. All right. All right, athletics. Also excited to kick off a new year in athletics. So we've got our event ticket prices here for you. There are no changes in our ticket prices this year. Remember, we do use a tool called GoFan. So you can go online and purchase your tickets. We encourage you to purchase them in advance. Kind of like going to the movies. A lot of us purchase our tickets before we get to the movie theater. We know exactly which theater we're going to, and you're ready to go in. Same thing happens with our GoFan. So here is a QR code, and here is a link if you are interested in supporting our students. And I encourage all of our community, whether you have children in our school system or not, please come out and watch our students and encourage them on the field or the court. All right. I want to remind everybody there's a disconnecting distractions and focusing on future. So what does that mean? We need our young people to put their cell phones away. There is a study out there that says that our teenagers actually within 1 hour often receive 100 different notifications. That's 100 times every hour that a student is disrupted from what the teacher is saying. That is not helpful to our students. Adults, we've all been in a meeting where you're listening, you're fully engaged, and then a text pops up and you say, what? And you read that, and then you look up and you realize you don't know what was shared even in the meeting. That same thing is happening to our students constantly throughout the day. So that is the main reason that we have the cell phones being put away. Beginning next school year, all across the state of Georgia, it's the cell phones have to be put away by law anyway. So Richmond County, we are ahead on that. And we do want to just remind all of our students, they have to be put away. Students, we do not want you disrupted in your class, and teachers, we want you to have 100% focus from all of your students. All right, and ways to connect with us. I'm going to highlight a few, go through this. Probably the most important one on that is the Infinite Campus Parent Portal. Every parent should have a parent portal account. Once you create it for your pre-K student, that's going to be good all the way through 12th grade. You only have to set it up one time. After that, you and your child are linked together. You can go in to see your child's attendance. You can go in and see your grades. That is your official grade book. You can also go into Spotlight and you'll see if your teacher is giving your child praise. Maybe you'll log in one day and just say, hey, I saw a little so-and-so being kind in the hallway today, and I appreciate that. So you can see that all of that great information inside Infinite Campus Parent Portal. OnFlow used to be called Let's Talk. You'll see that available on all of our websites. So that if you need to reach someone, you click on the OnFlow message, and then you go in and you say, who do you want to talk to? And you tell them their message, and then someone will get back in touch with you. One of the things we like about that is it allows us to see what questions are coming in, so that if everyone's asking the same question, we know we need to do a better job of communicating that with all of our families. So we look at that every week to say, what are the trends and what we have going on with OnFlow. Peach Jar. So you'll remember, some of you, when you were younger, we used to print a whole bunch of paper flyers. We put them in the child's backpack, and they would take them home and hopefully give them to mom and dad, grandmother, whoever's taking care of the child. Now we use Peach Jar, and it's an electronic flyer system, and they get sent to your email. So if you're getting a message from Peach Jar, that is not junk mail. That is your school sending home to you, to your email address that you have on file, the different flyers about events that are happening in our school. Sprigio, very important app, a great tool that we have for our families. You are able to click on the Sprigio app that's on our homepage, and that's also on every school's page, and you can make a secure, anonymous tip. It can be about bullying, or it could be any other concern that you have going on in the school. Once a student puts that message in the Sprigio app, we receive alerts. So there are certain keywords that alert staff members, your principal, your counselor. They will go in and they can help see that information and provide a response quickly. We talked a little bit about the Community One back to school guide that you're getting in the mail, but that's also, Community One is our newsletter. So if you are not currently subscribing to our newsletter, I encourage you to do that. The RCSS blog shares stories, just great highlights about things that are going on across the Richmond County school system. And you can sign up for that, or anyone can sign up for it, even if you are not a parent. Students, you can sign up as well. All right, on our next slide, we have a couple of other ways to talk, that we talk to you and connect these community conversations. I'm excited to be able to be on with you tonight, but you have some amazing guests lined up for you throughout the rest of this year. Class Dojo, that is our go-to tool for elementary schools. So every elementary teacher is expected to have a Class Dojo account, and mom and dad, that allows you to contact the teacher, and you guys can talk in that app. So your teachers will often send you a reminder, picture day is tomorrow, or you can also say, oh, Mrs. Cobb, I want to let you know that little Melinda's not going to be at school today. She's not feeling well. It allows you to communicate in real time. Remind is what we use for our middle and high schools. It works very much the same way. Each teacher has a class account. Parents can subscribe to that class account as well as students. And our teachers send wonderful reminders through there. Canvas. Canvas is our learning management system. So you will hear your student talk about that. Canvas communication mainly occurs between the teacher and the student. That's where your students will go online to submit their homework assignments. And so parents, you can request an observer account to see what's happening in your child's class, but that's probably not going to be the main one that you go to for communication. All right, and you'll also see we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, like all kinds of great tools out there if you would like to follow what we have going on as a school system. All right, on our next slide, and oh, that was our last one. Great. All right, so I wanted to just be able to share some of that great back to school information and the different ways that you could stay engaged with us. Because one of the things that we always ask is please don't stop talking to us. Let us know what we're doing well. Let us know where we need to improve, and let us know when you have ideas, because we really do believe that coming together makes a big difference.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Dr. Cobb. And speaking about sharing feedback and great ideas, we'll enter into the Q&A section of our event now. So as a reminder, any of our participants who joined in the middle, you can click on the Q&A button and submit your question. We'll try to answer it live with the time that we have. But we got a lot of questions. We'll try to combine some similar topics. And if we cannot get to your question live, please do include your contact information so that we can follow up with you one-on-one to make sure you get a response. And all of our frequently asked questions will be uploaded to rcboe.org/townhall. But with that being said, Dr. Cobb and you and I can kind of tag team some of the questions that are coming in. So
Sounds
first
great.
question that I had, and this was submitted before the event, what can we expect that's new and different in the Richmond County school system this upcoming school year? I mean, you kind of went over a lot of things,
We
but
did.
what are some of the things that we're focusing on as a district?
Well, certainly literacy is a big initiative statewide, not only in Richmond County, but everywhere. We are very excited. Every elementary school will have a literacy coach who's going to be working with all of our kindergarten, first, second, and third grade teachers and classrooms. So you may see an extra adult elementary. We're also really excited about our driving engagement through golf. So we have a new golf pilot program that you'll see out there where it's woven into the curriculum in several of our schools. But part of what you're going to see is a continued focus on student achievement in the classroom, making sure that we are using all of our time as wisely as we can. You'll see around talent development, making sure that we are working on leadership opportunities. We want to make sure our students see themselves as leaders. Parents, you should see that you're invited to your teacher conference, your parent-teacher conference, and you may even see that it's being student-led. We are teaching our students how to lead their own conversation with their parents about how they're doing. And then, of course, safe and security. I hope that you're seeing that everyone is mindful about making sure we have all our exterior doors nice and safe. You'll be asked to show your ID when you get to the schools, but we're really focused on making sure that we keep that clean, safe environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm especially excited about the driving engagement powered by golf. We
Mhm.
got the opportunity, our administrators and certain pilot schools got the opportunity to take a sneak peek on what that will look like, but our curriculum is really going to have a lot of fun and cool ways to incorporate that into the classroom, especially for our elementary school students. Very excited to see it and to film it and to send some really cool pictures out to our parents about that when we get started in the fall, the school year. I'm going to jump back and forth between some of the ones that were submitted before the event and during the event. Um,
Okay.
Here's a question that I have here, and I have an answer to, and Dr. Cobb, maybe you can piggyback off if you have anything to add. We had a question about House Bill 251. If your child was accepted for House Bill 51, typically our approval email says that you have to enroll your child by the first week of school or within 10 days of approval. So their question was, hey, if I was approved last week, can I still enroll? Am I still able to enroll and have House Bill 251 honored? And the answer to that is yes. You can attend your school's open house and enroll there, and they'll still honor your House Bill 251 request. And of course, if you have any questions about school choice or House Bill 251, you can contact our school options office. If you visit rcboe.org/school choice, you'll see their office phone number. You can get in touch with our school options team. Anything you want to add there, Dr. Cobb, about House Bill?
No, Haley, you covered it really well. So, parent, that if you once you have that letter, if you get that over to the school, they'll help you get enrolled. Mhm.
Awesome. And then next question that I had that was submitted, and I'll take this one too. This is kind of my baby. I had a
Okay.
question about the website. You'll notice that you had a new look to all of your school websites, a new rcboe.org as well. Questions concerning about the website. Not sure why it was needed to make changes to the website, but under the staff headings for each school, there's not enough information. Would love to see a little bit of bio of each teacher, um, if it's their first year teaching, how long they've been teaching, etc. It's important to this person. So absolutely hear your feedback. I think that's very, very good feedback to have. So to give you a little bit of information, we revamped all of our school and district sites in December of last year, mostly because we had to make a lot of required updates in order to get our sites into compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, but also because technology changes, and we had to make some essential updates to the back end of our websites. But one thing that we're absolutely going to work on this year is making sure that we improve those directories so that you can see that important information about staff, but also highly encourage you to make that Canvas Observer account for your parents and guardians so that you can also see all of the syllabi, all of the courses that your child will be enrolled in the new school year. You can visit rcboe.org/Canvas to get some information about how to set up your Canvas Observer account. You can also figure it out at open house if you talk to your school. Next question. Let me see here, and maybe I'll shoot this one over to Dr. Cobb.
Okay.
I have a question about magnet schools and sports. Uh, Really, in a nutshell, why is it our policy typically is that our magnet schools, you have to play sports that are offered or participate in athletic programs offered at the school that you attend. Can you talk a little bit more about that and why we have that policy in place?
Okay, and make sure and I hope I'll answer the question. So what athletic programs are offered at the different magnet schools? And we have different ones at each school. So you would have to go to that school's website or contact that school and give them a call to find out exactly which sports are offered at that magnet school. Some sports are offered in every school, but not every sport is offered in all of our magnet schools. So one of the questions we often get is, why can't I go back to my zone school to play? And in Richmond County, you are welcome to attend your zone school. Anytime that you are zoned for a school, that is your school. You don't have to apply. You just enroll. Your address automatically makes you eligible to attend there. And we try to offer as many sports as that school can support. But when you choose to go into the magnet program, you are choosing to participate in specialized programs. And that's not located typically in your geographic area. So you're traveling to participate at a different school. And we tried to align as many of the different opportunities in sports that we can at each school. But obviously, I'm going to pick an example, football. Football requires a lot of students to be able to have a big team to be able to participate in. So under our GHSA rules, once you participate in a sport, like let's say you were at Davidson and you wanted to participate in the one act play, that's a GHSA competition. You can't hop back and forth. So once you're a Davidson student to participate in GHSA one act competition, you could not participate in a sport at any other school. Our practice has been that we cannot get you to that school before the athletic practice starts. So one of the things that you heard as we were sharing earlier was we have different bell times. So your school is still in session when some of the other schools have actually started sports, or middle schools dismiss later. So while the state law does allow each local board of education to make that determination, we've supported that once you choose to go into that magnet program, that we want you to be fully invested in all of the after-school practices and after-school clubs and activities at that specialized program. I hope that helped answer that
Right.
question.
Absolutely. And what I'm hearing, Dr. Cobb, is, there's so many logistics that come into what sports and what programs we can offer at our schools between student interest, participation, available facilities, scheduling, staffing. But we understand how important it is and how athletics are so important for all of our students. And we're always looking for opportunities to strengthen our athletic and extracurricular programs. And we're taking that feedback to heart, and we'll continue to try to make those improvements as we go along.
And I want to make sure I acknowledge too, we try to do that at the zone schools as well. So they may have more sports, but we try to make sure, do you have specialized programming? So we try to make sure we have fine arts available at our zone schools, that we have science, technology, STEM at each of the zone schools. So we have some athletics at our specialized schools, and we have some specialized programs in our zone schools.
Right. So another question I have,
Okay.
I might start this one, Dr. Cobb, and you can jump in. So many families of students with disabilities spend a lot of time advocating to ensure that IEP accommodations are implemented. It's a long process. It can be a lot of collaboration between the school and the parent. So what district-wide accountability measures are being put in place this year to ensure every student's accommodations are followed faithfully? So one thing that you'll see from our special education department this year, and also from all of our school staff in those special classrooms for those students that have IEPs, is strengthening accountability measures throughout the department to all of our schools as they implement and create and continue to monitor those IEPs. That includes staff training. It includes increased oversight by school and district leaders, and then using data from those IEPs to continue to, um, you know, maintain open communication with families. So really the focus is to ensure that every student receives the support that's outlined within the IEP. Anything you want to add there, Dr. Cobb?
No, I think that is the beauty of having an IEP. That's an individualized education plan and it's fluid. So sometimes we try some things and that works really well and the student is successful. Sometimes we try something, it doesn't quite work. We come back to the team and that team would make those changes because it is always about what is in the best interest of that student. I think part of the question too was about how do we make sure that happens? And we do that together. So yes, there is your administrative team. They'll be in those classrooms. They'll be looking to see that things are happening. Your teacher is helping to ensure. We do have the special education department, as you talked about, but we're also counting on a parent to be able to ask a question. I thought it was going to look like this. Is that quite what's happening? This is something that it takes all of us coming together. So I also would remind parents, don't be afraid to advocate. If you have a question or you don't understand something or you think something's not right, talk to your child's teacher. And if your teacher cannot help you, talk to your child's school administration, because what we don't want you to do is to just not ask. So please let us know. Mhm.
Absolutely. Moving on a little bit,
Mhm.
changing gears to a question
Okay.
about pre-K, our
Yeah.
pre-K program, our Georgia pre-K program. So this person asks, I've had several children that attended pre-K at the former Bel Air K through 8.
Mhm.
Some of them had specials, so special classes like gym, art, music, and STEM, and
Okay.
others did not have particular classes for that. Can you tell me if incoming pre-K students will have access to specials?
Okay, great question. So what happens at the elementary school when they are scheduling? The first priority is we have to make sure we get every kindergarten through fifth grade student scheduled to be able to attend all of the specials classes. All of our pre-K programs, they follow the guidelines right from the start. But one of the things that we try to do is, as space allows in the schedule, we try to get our pre-K students in those specials classes. So our bare minimum at every elementary school is that we make sure that our kindergarten through fifth grade students all have PE, music, and art. So as we can get pre-K students also in that schedule, we always want to do that. And that might be why some of your children had different specials each year. It probably depended on their schedule. Now, this one we did get a question earlier, and one of the questions was specific to Bel Air. So I would say if you're out there and you want to know what specials your child would have in pre-K, contact your school. But I did go ahead, since somebody put it in early, I did call Bel Air to see what would they be offering. And pre-K students will be having specials second semester, and they'll be having PE and STEM. So that was one of the questions we received early, so I was able to get that. But anyone else who has that question, just give your school a call or come to open house next week. Your teacher will be able to share that information.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Uh, okay, I'm kind of going through our Q&A. Here's an easy one. Um, For those that cannot watch this event today live, can they share a YouTube link? And the answer is absolutely yes. If they're not here right now, we always upload recordings, full recordings on our YouTube channel, so you can absolutely share it with your parents, with your students, and make sure you follow us so that you always get updates from our profiles. Another question I have here concerning curriculum, a curriculum question.
Okay.
So, um, some schools offer particular classes, like for example, Lake Forest Hill offers some foreign language classes in an elementary school, while others have different programming. Can you talk a little bit about how curriculum works within our schools, um, and why some programs have certain classes that others don't?
Sure, I think I understand that question. Um, so every school in Richmond County offers the same curriculum with ELA, math, science, social studies, health, PE, those standard classes, the music, the art we were talking about. But we also here in Richmond County have several specialized programs. Lake Forest Hill is an example. They have the IB program that's available to all of their students, the primary years program. We offer IB, International Baccalaureate. We offer that at Lake Forest Hills, Copeland Elementary, and Hepzibah Elementary. So as a part of that curriculum with the IB program, they do have to have access to a world language. You can understand that with the International Baccalaureate program. But you'll also find that at other schools, for example, we have a fine arts program. We have an arts infusion program at Warren Road, at Garrett, and at Hepzibah. So they may have some additional fine arts classes. So I encourage all of our families, please make sure if you are interested in specialized programming, be on the lookout for our school choice guide. It comes in the mail usually during the month of October, and the applications open up November 1st for the next school year. Another example at the elementary level, we have like A. Dorothy Hines and Goshen. They offer specialized STEM programs. So they're going to have additional STEM classes and resources that we wouldn't have at every single school. So all students get the state curriculum. We follow the state standards, but we do offer specialized programs at some schools. And that's probably where this person is just wondering about why sometimes there's a difference. Mhm. But
Awesome.
every elementary school has PE, music, and art. Those three.
Absolutely. And all
Yes.
of our elementary schools have fabulous teachers.
Yes.
They are going to have a wonderful experience no matter where they are. So here's an interesting question, Dr. Cobb. Is the district considering a parent advisory council that meets with district leadership?
Yes, that's a great question. That is something that we have wanted to start. So we do have parent advisory that works with our title programs. You guys will know every school invites you to come out to Title I, your parent compact that you sign, and we try to get input. But we have looked at the district level. Can we have parent advisory at the district level specifically? Meet with me. I want to hear from you about some of the things that are working. We have school councils at every school. So that's the group that we have been taking a look at. How do we meet with our school council presidents on a regular basis? We come together once a year to talk about training and making sure we have information and we know how to run our school councils, but how can they be more active during the year? We have we have an active teacher advisory. We have an active principal advisory that comes and speaks to the superintendent. And our student advisory is there as well, like coming, and they have lots of opinions they love to share, but we want to hear with our parents too. So if the person who asked that question is interested in helping us kind of outline what that looks like, I'd love for you to follow up after the session and reach out to us, because that is an area where we really want to grow. It's a great idea.
Yeah, one of my favorite board meetings of the year is when the Student Advisory Council comes and gives their presentation based
Mhm.
on all the meetings that they have, giving the board their policy recommendations.
Yes,
Really, honestly, it does inform some of the policy changes that the board makes. So, absolutely, that feedback is so important.
it is.
So maybe I can take the next question, Dr. Cobb. I had a question about, let's see here, about Infinite Campus Parent Portal. So this parent says that they have not been able to log in to Infinite Campus for 2 years. How can they access their account since their child's going into high school, and who can they reach out to for assistance? Absolutely, we need to get you into that account. Um, you can go to rcboe.org/parent portal. That is one way where you can just see the instructions, but if you need to get live help, and it sounds like you need live help, there's a few ways you can do that. Come to open house, tell your school administrators or your school teacher, hey, I'm struggling to get into there, and somebody at the school can help you get into your parent portal account. You can also reach out to our IT team.
Mhm.
If you go onto the parent portal page, it has our phone number for the IT team. And then lastly, the third way that you can get some help to access your parent portal account if you go to our contact us page, so when
Mhm.
we talked about OnFlow, right? Every school website and our district site has a little thing that says contact us on the bottom. When you open that up and you say you have a concern, that emails our staff directly and our IT team directly so that they can help you and respond to you. So those are three ways, go to open house or go to your child's school and ask for assistance, visit our website, call our IT team, or submit a request through OnFlow,
Mhm.
and get in touch with our IT team, and absolutely we'll get you some help to get into your Infinite Campus account. Okay.
And Haley, while you were talking, I double checked myself. You may have
Mhm.
seen me looking up, but that phone number for our IT help is the 706-826-1003. So if you dial that number, our IT team will help you because it may be that we need to reset something for you, and we'd be happy to do that. It's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah. Maybe not right now. Maybe having dinner right now,
This
but
is true.
probably work. Okay. Next question. If you're just joining us, I'll go ahead and send this reminder. We have about 15 minutes left, but if you have a question, please use our Q&A button on the top or bottom of your device. Send us your Q&A. If we can't answer you live, include your information so that we can answer you offline. So next Q&A that I have concerns dress codes in our schools. Can my child have a nose piercing or facial piercings and still attend school?
Mhm.
So, and that, there's some considerations with school to school, but we do have a dress code policy in our code of conduct. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Dr. Cobb?
I can. So facial piercings, body piercings, that question comes up sometimes. There is nothing in the current code of conduct that says that you cannot have them, but what it does say is that it cannot be a distraction. And so if what you have or your child has is multiple piercings, and it does cause a distraction in the learning environment, your school administrator would talk to you about that. So what I really encourage you to do if you aren't sure, is this distracting? Talk to your child's administrator. Go to the school, talk to them, see what they say, and then you would know going in. This is what I tell my own child, and so I just share this with you. When in doubt, don't. So if you think it's distracting or you think someone else might consider it distracting, then maybe that's not something that you want to have. But if it is not distracting, and that is just something that your child has, that is not strictly in our code of conduct. So I hope that's helpful on that question.
Yeah. I have another question here in our live chat. So I had a question about right sizing, and I can take this, Dr. Cobb, and maybe you can um, include some information if you so wish. But previously, the district discussed right sizing to make a better use of allocated resources. Where is that district plan? So you can find information about our long-range facilities master plan on our website, rcboe.org/master plan. That has copies of all the proposed plans going back several years, as well as copies of public hearings and things like that. Some of the things that we approved in our facilities master plan last year that affects this school year, we did close down Murphy Middle School and Jenkins White Middle School, and we've consolidated Glen Hills Elementary School and Barton Chapel Elementary School in the Glen Hills Elementary School building while a new elementary school is being built, Chapel Hills Elementary School, on that site at Barton Chapel. And then additionally, Dr. Cobb, I'll let you talk about TW Josie High School and the plans for the new College and Career Center.
Okay, sure. And I do want to make sure we say, Jenkins White Elementary. That's the one
Yeah.
that closed. Yes.
Mhm.
And so as Murphy, the building closed, our students went to 3 different middle schools. We were excited to have them at all those different locations. I met a family today who is going to just move to the area, going over to the new Langford Tut, excited about that construction. What's happening at TW Josie? On that site, the Thomas Walter Josie High School, Comprehensive High School, right? Those students are going to be housed in what used to be the Murphy building. So we've been working on getting all of them moved in over there. Once we get them moved in and settled, construction will begin on the new TW Josie High School College and Career Academy. So what does that mean? We are so excited about this project. It's probably one of my favorite projects I've worked on in 32 years. If I'm being really honest, I know people say I get so excited, but we have career pathways that are aligned to the different needs that we have here in our community. And we're going to have all of these different career pathways that are clustered around different areas. The students will be able to get hands-on experience while they are there with us, while also going to school. But we're going to take a look at it in a little different way. We want to take a look at the advanced diploma track so that some of our students can take fewer of those traditional high school classes that they needed in the past and more of those CTAE programs, because we have a vision of our students that when they graduate, they're graduating with some of those career certificates that they need to go straight to work, making very good money right here in the Augusta area. We also have a goal that they graduate with more than one of those. So we want our students to graduate in multiple pathways, multiple clusters, and certifications, as well as at the College and Career Academy, we're going to have opportunities for students to participate in real-world experiences, internships through work-based learning, and then going to take dual enrollment courses to maybe even graduate with an associate's degree by the time they finish their 4 years. So that open date is the fall of 2029. And so what we'll be doing between then is a lot of planning, some of those details, sharing more with our community over the next couple of years, and building just a top-notch facility. I have visited with our team. We have visited so many sites across the state. And I tell you, I contend we are going to build one of the very best, because as we visited each, we've asked, what would you do differently if you could do this again? And so we've taken a lot of lessons learned and excited about this new space.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm really excited about with the new space is open to the district. So any high school student can choose to attend the TW Josie High School College and Career Academy. But until then, our TW Josie Comprehensive High School
Mhm.
students will be going to Murphy Middle School, or the Murphy Middle School building. Looking forward to seeing them at open house on August 4th and the first day of school on August 6th for those TW Josie students.
Yes, thank you.
So moving on to our next question here. So, questions about compensation for our employees. Our staff are our most valuable support for our students. Um, do we believe that our RCSS employees are being compensated appropriately? And how do we establish salaries, and salary scales within our school system?
Great. Well, the first thing that we do is we always start with the state pay scale. The state gives every system in the state of Georgia a state pay scale. And this is the very minimum that you can pay a teacher in the state of Georgia. They send us that money to help make sure that our teachers are paid. Each local school system then adds a supplement to that. And that's why you get a difference in pay from one county to another. So that's the place where we start. From there, we look at everybody else. What about all the other employees that we have? For example, we have custodial staff, we have bus drivers, we have many people that we employ to help make sure the work happens every day. So we are every year looking at our salary scales to say, is it keeping up with what we look at as the rate of inflation? The answer is no, it is not. Not the state pay is not keeping up with the rate of inflation, nor are we able to do that locally. So that person asked a great question, like, do we think that our compensation is where it needs to be? We know it needs to be a little higher. And in some cases, it needs to really be revisited. And that's something that we do all the time, is to take a look at what would they make in other school systems who have a tax base similar to ours. I would love to look at just maybe people that live next door to us, but they don't have the same tax base. It's not quite the same. So I don't know if I'm getting too complex into that, but that's a part of what we're always having to take a look at is what can we also afford? I can only promise this. We don't keep any of the money back. Whatever money we are able to spend, we push out. Approximately 91% of the money that we have is in salaries, is in employee benefits, is in teacher retirement. It's really all in what we call personnel. And that's high. So we're passing along as much of that money as we possibly can.
Right.
But your previous question leads to another challenge that we have. When we have so many schools, we're taking the same dollar amount and we're spreading it across so many different sites. If you think about even in your own home, you know how much money you have, and that can help pay for your one house. Then maybe you have a child that goes to college and they want to get an apartment. You're taking that same money and now you're paying for 2 spaces. That happens with the district as well. So we get our defined amount and then we're spreading that out across all of our schools. So that's why you will hear us as we're constantly talking about right sizing to help make sure that we're able to maximize those dollars and be able to have increased salaries. So I would say salary adjustments are probably the top priority in every budget cycle.
Yeah, and constantly improving. And really, I mean, our
Mhm.
HR team can attest to this if they're watching right now. Offering competitive compensation and taking care of our employees is one of our highest priorities.
Yeah.
So,
And part of what we build in with our salaries is we have what we call step increases. So we've built out for employees. So you know that as you work, how your salary will increase. And that's meant to help, offset some of the cost of living increases that are constantly happening. We're thankful that we were able to propose and our board approved step increases for everyone this year. And
right.
we're also really happy that we're able to offer a retention bonus this December for everyone who's been here with us, would receive that $500 bonus or supplement in December as well to try to honor some of that great work. Mhm.
Absolutely. Um, and if you would love to be a bus driver
Mhm.
within our school system, our transportation team, we were able to increase the starting pay for quality bus drivers so that we can really build and get some great people on the roads transporting our students to school. So anybody who wants to work for the Richmond County School System, you can visit our website, click work for RCSS and learn more about it, connect with our HR team.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 5 minutes left and a
Okay.
few
That
questions
went fast.
too. I know, right? Oh my gosh. And that's what happens when you have good conversation, huh? So let me see. Here's a question. When will middle school schedules become available? That is given to you at open house. Isn't that right, Dr. Cobb?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it
But
is. Sometimes the school will make it available for parents to see or students to see inside of Infinite Campus, but everybody's target date is to make sure that's available at open house.
okay. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Question here. What is the major difference between CT Walker and other specialized programs at different schools in the county?
Mhm. At CT Walker, it's what they call a traditional magnet school. And so they focus on the classics. You'll notice, for example, the pre-K, the kindergarten students have a uniform that they wear. So they focus in on making sure that all of our students are receiving the sort of a classical approach um, to education. And one of the things that we try to do is also make that fun. So we want to make sure that our students still have access to some of the fine arts and to STEM opportunities as well. But that is a part of what you'll see. So you'll also see a little heavier workload, moving at a little accelerated pace to help make sure that those students are moving on in that track.
Right.
It's a good question, and that's one we get a lot.
Okay, let's see here. So I have some of these we've answered already, and some of them I did answer in the chat as we were going along.
Okay.
So, let's see, we answered this one. We answered this one. Okay, here's a question. So this person says that they've reached out to their school via phone and they're just not getting a response. So I guess the question is, then they're feeling a little frustrated. So what could a parent do if they are reaching out to the school
Yeah.
and they don't feel like they're getting a response that they need from them?
Great. First of all, I'm sorry that that happened. I want to make sure I tell you that can be frustrating, and that's not the experience that we want for any of our families. The first question I hope that the school that you're reaching out to is one of the ones that is still open, that it's not one of our schools that closed. That's the parent I was helping today. They didn't realize the school had closed. So if your school is open and running, someone should be answering the phone. If you're calling there and they do not, your next line to do is to call that assistant superintendent. So when you call the 826-1000 number, you can tell them the name of your child's school. They will direct you to that assistant superintendent's office. The person who answers the phone should be able to help answer the question that you have. And if not, they will ensure that you get a call back. And then that gives us a chance to see what's happening, why that call is not being answered, because we are all staff. Now, today we did have a lot of professional learning going on across our district. So it's possible that someone wasn't there at that moment whenever you called. But answering the phone and making sure that we're available is a priority. So I would ask that person, give us a second chance. Either call the school again tomorrow, and if they do not answer on that first try, please go ahead and contact down at the central office and be connected with your child's assistant superintendent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Before we go, I want to make sure we had a few questions about fiscal responsibility. I want to make sure we can answer at least one of them.
Okay.
So what steps are being taken to ensure that fraud and waste is not happening within our school system?
Okay, well, that's something we're constantly doing because we just talked about we have a limited number of dollars. We want to spend them wisely. So we every year we go through an entire budget cycle, budget process. We align to our priorities. We're making sure that where we are putting our money is going to help us move the needle and move student achievement forward. So that process happens every year. We also, of course, have auditing accounts. We have an internal auditing department that takes a look at the spending at every school and department. That is always happening as well. Our federal programs, we have many federal guidelines that we have to meet to be able to show how programs are working. But we also do program evaluation, and I think sometimes families don't know about that. What does that mean? That means we're spending dollars on a particular program, and we want to know, was this program effective? Was this program helpful? And so we look at, was it implemented well? Is it having the intended impact that we wanted it to have? And if it's not, is it something we need to stop doing, or is it something we need to retrain? That's happening as well. But I do want to make sure I acknowledge that when you go to our website, if you Google Richmond and fraud, abuse, and waste, there is a report form. So if you ever feel like, hey, I suspect that there's some abuse or waste, you can fill that out. It comes directly to our team. We investigate that and we follow up with you. And that's something that every school system has, not just here in Richmond County, because we do want to make sure that we are very accountable to our taxpayers, whether that's through grants, federal dollars, state dollars, or local dollars, that we are being good stewards of that money. So we have quite a few safeguards in place to help us make sure that we're being effective. But again, like we talked earlier, we need community feedback too. So if you see something that we may not see, let us know. Mhm.
Absolutely, and we'll piggyback off of that. Our internal auditing team, our finance team, and our federal programs team. I mean, they work tirelessly day to day just on helping us maintain fiscal responsibility. And I know they help us maintain those processes, approval processes, separation of duties, inventory controls.
Right.
That work is constantly happening throughout the year.
That's right.
Uh, so I want to answer a few more school questions as we begin to close out. I had a few more questions asking about open house and the first day of school. For our elementary schools, any elementary school in our school system, you are going to go to open house on Monday, August 3rd from noon to 6 p.m. All of our elementary schools are going to start. The first day of school will be on August 5th, and that starts at your school start time. Our high schools, middle schools, magnet schools, everything other than elementary school will have their open house on August 4th, Tuesday, August 4th, from noon to 6 p.m. And their first day of school will be August 6th at their school start time. So just want to make sure that that is abundantly clear for our families as they get ready for back to school. So we're at 7:02, Dr. Cobb. That really did go by so fast. My gosh. So for those of you that didn't get their question answered, again, we're going to take all of these and we're going to develop FAQs and put them up on our website. We'll also post a copy of our webinar, a recording on our YouTube channel at RCSS Media. And of course, if you've included your contact information, we'll collect that as well and make sure for those of you who had specific questions about your child that you get some follow-up. But this has been Community Conversations. So happy to have you guys back for another school year. Dr. Cobb, anything you want to say to close us out before we go?
Now, I want to just thank everyone who joined tonight. We appreciate your active engagement, making sure you stay well informed, and we are really looking forward to seeing everyone for a new year. Mhm.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.